Hello everybody! If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 625, The Silent Companion, Intermediate. Arthur's world had become very small. It was now just his small, tidy flat in the long, white-tiled corridor that led to the community laundry room. It was a quiet building, mostly elderly people like him. He liked the quiet, or he used to. It started on a Tuesday. Arthur was taking his clean sheets back to his flat. From the corner of his eye, he saw someone standing at the far end of the corridor, near the fire exit. It was just a shape, tall and still. Arthur paused, but when he turned his head to look properly, no one was there. The next day he saw it again. This time it was closer, halfway down the corridor. It was the figure of a man wearing a dark, long coat. His face was unclear, shadowed. Arthur felt a cold feeling in his stomach. He blinked, and the figure was gone. After that, Arthur saw him every day, the silent man. He never moved when Arthur looked directly at him. He only appeared in the edges of Arthur's vision, always a little closer than before. Outside the newsagent's, reflected in the microwave door, standing across the road. Arthur stopped going out. He locked his door. The quiet of the building was no longer peaceful. It was a waiting quiet. He told his daughter on the phone, "There's a man, Sarah. He's following me." "Oh, Dad," she said gently, "it's probably just Mr. Evans from number 5. You said yourself it's a friendly place." "But it wasn't Mr. Evans." One evening, Arthur was watching television. The room was dark, lit only by the blue glow of the screen. He felt a chill. Slowly, he turned his head. The silent man was there. He was inside the flat. He stood in the doorway to the hall, his features still hidden in deep shade. He was close enough to touch. Arthur's heart beat very fast. He couldn't breathe. He squeezed his eyes shut, praying for it to be a dream. When he opened them, the doorway was empty. That was the final warning. Arthur knew with a cold certainty that the next time the man appeared, he would be right beside him. He wouldn't just stand and watch. The next day, Arthur did not get out of bed. The fear was a heavy weight on his chest. The flat was silent, too silent. The usual hum of the refrigerator had stopped. The tick of the clock on the wall was absent. It was a deep, thick silence, like being underwater. He pulled the blanket over his head, like a scared child. He could hear the frantic beat of his own heart in his ears. Thump, 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 thump. And then he heard another sound. A slow, soft breath. But not his own. It was very close. Arthur froze. The breath came again. A quiet sigh right next to his ear. The blanket was pulled down from his face, not with a rough grab, but with a gentle, terrible slowness. Arthur opened his eyes. The silent man was leaning over him, their faces only inches apart. The shadows were gone. For the first time, Arthur saw his face clearly. It was his own face, but older, much older, with eyes that were tired and empty. It was him, as he would be on the day he died. The figure did not speak. It simply looked at him with a sad, final understanding. It raised a pale, thin hand and gently placed it over Arthur's heart. Arthur felt a coldness spread through his chest. The frantic beating of his heart slowed. Then it stopped. The silence in the room was complete. The figure straightened up, looked down at the peaceful bed once more, and then faded away, leaving Arthur alone with his ending. Vocabulary notes. Tidy, adjective, meaning neat, clean and organized with everything in its correct place. Example: his small, tidy flat with the long, white-tiled corridor. Similar words: neat, orderly, organized, spruce. Opposite: untidy, messy, cluttered. Certainty, noun, meaning the state of being completely confident or sure that something is true. Example: Arthur knew with a cold certainty that the next time the man appeared, he would be right beside him. Similar words: sureness, conviction, confidence, assurance. Opposite: doubt, uncertainty, hesitation. Frantic, adjective, meaning done quickly and with a lot of activity, but in a way that is not organized because you are desperate or worried. Example: he could hear the frantic beat of his own heart in his ears. Similar words: wild, desperate, panicked, hectic. Opposite: calm, relaxed, measured, leisurely. Absent, adjective, meaning not present or existing in a place. Missing. Example: the tick of the clock on the wall was absent. Similar words: missing, gone, lacking, unavailable. Opposite: present, existing, here. Fade, verb, meaning to slowly become less clear, visible, or loud until it disappears. Example: the figure straightened up and then faded away. Similar words: disappear, vanish, dissolve, diminish, melt away. Opposite: appear, materialize, intensify. Story written by DeepSeek AI. Image created by AI Magic's X AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into something really interesting, a short story called The Silent Companion. And what's pretty fascinating, even before we start, is that it was written by DeepSeek AI.
Right, that adds a whole other layer, doesn't it?
It really does. So our mission today, for you listening, is to explore this story. It's about an elderly man, Arthur, and his increasing dread as he encounters this silent figure.
We'll be looking at what this companion might be, how the fear builds, and what it tells us about, perception, fear, mortality even.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this. So Arthur, he lives this quiet life, very solitary, small, tidy flat. Building's mostly older folks. Initially, it sounds quite peaceful.
Yeah, the baseline is calm.
Until Tuesday. He's just going about his business, and he sees something near the fire exit, just out of the corner of his eye. A shape, it says tall and still.
Only peripheral, though.
Only peripheral. He looks directly, it's gone, just vanishes. And that's just the start.
And right there, that's classic psychological tension building.
Right.
What's fascinating is how it plays on that unease, the stuff you can't quite pin down.
Yeah.
That feeling of the uncanny. Something's off, but you can't prove it. Starting with the peripheral vision as well, it's a masterstroke for setting up his isolation.
Totally. And it just escalates. This shape becomes clearer, sort of. A silent man, dark coat, face always shadowed, unclear.
Always unclear.
And he gets closer, first, halfway down the corridor. Then outside the newsagents when Arthur dares to go out. Then even reflected in his microwave door.
Oh, wow. Inside his space almost.
Getting there. It's terrifying. So Arthur reacts as you might expect. He stops going out, locks the door tight. That quietness of the building, it changes.
How so?
It goes from being peaceful to, in the story, it calls it a waiting quiet. Like the silence itself is tense.
Waiting for what? Yeah. Chilling.
He tries to tell his daughter, Sarah, but she's just, gentle, dismissive. Oh, Dad, it's probably just Mr. Evans from number 5.
The dismissal. And that's such a key moment, isn't it?
It really is.
Because it cuts him off. It confirms his isolation. What he's seeing, what he's feeling, it's real to him. But now it's only real to him. No one else gets it or even believes it.
Makes it way scarier.
Absolutely. It forces him, and us really, to confront this thing without any outside backup. Makes you question your own senses.
Right. And then the big shift. The boundary is crossed. One evening, the silent man isn't outside, isn't down the hall. He's inside Arthur's flat, standing right there in the doorway. Close enough, the story says, close enough to touch, calls it the final warning.
Wow. Okay. No more ambiguity there.
None. So the next day, Arthur he stays in bed, he's overwhelmed, and something else happens. The sounds he usually hears, the fridge hum, the clock ticking.
Gone.
Absent, replaced by this deep, thick silence, like being underwater.
That's incredibly evocative. It's like all the buffers are gone, isn't it?
Yeah.
That sensory stripping away.
Right.
It prepares him almost ritually for whatever's next.
Yeah, it feels like that. Because what's next is the final encounter. It's intimate. He hears breathing. A slow, soft breath right next to his ear.
Oh, man.
Then the blanket. It's cooled down, slowly. Gentle. Terrible slowness. He opens his eyes. The silent man is leaning over him, but the shadows on the face are gone, and Arthur sees it's his own face.
His own face.
Yeah, but older, much older, with eyes that were tired and empty.
Whoa. Okay, that completely reframes everything. So the companion, it's not some ghost or intruder.
No.
It's him. It's his future. His death. It's an internal confrontation made external. That's profound.
It really is. Suddenly the fear isn't just fear, it's something else.
Exactly. The story talks about a sad final understanding and later describes his bed as peaceful. It suggests this acceptance, maybe not seeing death as this hostile invader, but almost like meeting yourself, a very personal, quiet meeting.
Yeah, a quiet meeting. And considering this whole thing was written by an AI, DeepSeek AI, it's kind of mind-blowing it could capture that depth.
It really is. It makes the ending even more poignant.
So the ending. This figure, his future self, puts a hand over Arthur's heart. Arthur feels his heart slow down, then just stop. The figure fades, leaving Arthur alone with his ending.
Wow.
So wrapping this up, this deep dive into the silent companion, it's shown us this really powerful journey, hasn't it? Into fear, endings, and finding out your ultimate companion is, well, you.
And it definitely raises a big question, especially knowing the author is DeepSeek AI. What does it mean for AI to be able to sort of articulate these deep human experiences like mortality, self-reflection, fear?
Yeah, that's the kicker, isn't it?
It makes you think.
It does. And maybe a final thought for you listening. How might your own view of fear, or even how you think about an ending, change if you consider that maybe your silent companion is just a reflection of yourself? Perhaps even one shown to us through a lens that isn't quite human. Makes you pause, doesn't it?